Welcome to the Decode Your Body podcast. I'm Tasha Miller, your host, symptom decoder and body clarity mentor for powerhouse women ready to finally understand their bodies. If you've done everything right, the plans, the protocols, the clean eating, and your body still feels unpredictable, this is where women stop guessing their symptoms and start decoding them through the lens of their unique body type. Get ready to become the CEO of your body. Welcome back to the podcast this week. I was thinking the other day, there's been many times in my life where I expected my body to respond the way it used to, and it just didn't. And you've likely had moments like that too. Something feels different and there's no obvious reason for it. And you go through your days or your weeks the same way you always do, and your body gives you a different result than you're used to. And this is where the wrong conclusion gets made. Age and discipline, they literally get blamed for everything. And lately, I don't know about you, but I'm seeing perimenopause and menopause have become the explanation for almost every symptom a woman has. Now, sometimes that's accurate, but most of the time, it's the default answer because it's just the simplest one to give. And no one is really looking at how your food, routines, and lifestyle are working together or against each other. And the real reason is simpler. Something in your life changed and your body is reacting to that. And I get it because I've completely lived this. I've had seasons where things have shifted, and back then, none of it made sense to me. By the time I was pregnant with my fifth child in 2013, my life looked nothing like it did when I was having babies from 2000 to 2007. My first 4 pregnancies, with my fourth at age 31, were simple and honestly, I loved being pregnant. My births, they were super fast and easy, and my body really handled pregnancy well. But a lot changed in the years between pregnancy number 4 and pregnancy number 5. I had gotten breast implants in 2008 when I was 32 before I knew anything about them or that breast implant illness was even a thing. I also went through a divorce in 2010. I moved 3 times between 2010 and 2013, remarried in 2013, and I was raising 4 kids with my new husband, homeschooling again, and we were in the middle of a renovation. So when I became pregnant again at 37, it didn't surprise me that it felt different, but I didn't expect just how different it would feel. I remember walking up a set of stairs and getting overwhelmed by that big rush of heat, not like normal pregnancy warmth, but you've been in a sauna too long and your whole body wants to pass out kind of heat. None of that ever happened in any of my first 4 pregnancies. And that was also the pregnancy where I developed a chronic lung condition. And it started with a respiratory infection that just never went away. I was always having to clear my throat and my chest felt dry and kind of warm. And even after the pregnancy, it just lingered for all these years. And I didn't understand it back then. I just lived with it. I remember our finances became unstable too. When my daughter was 6 months old, my husband fell off a 14-foot wall, broke, he dislocated his wrist, and he was the breadwinner. And one of his customers also owed us thousands of dollars for over 6 months around that same time. And we learned to live with very little. But you know what? God provided everything we needed, but it was not an easy season. And at the time, I didn't have the body CEO lens, and I didn't know how to look at patterns, and I didn't know how to look at context. So I just blamed age, and I told myself, well, you know what? I'm 37. Maybe this is just what happens now, being older and having a new baby. But as they say, hindsight is 20/20. And looking back, the real explanation is very obvious to me now. A lot had changed. My life, my responsibilities, my environment, and my body was responding to those changes while I kept comparing myself to who I was a decade earlier. And by my 6th pregnancy in 2016, I was now 40 and the pattern was still there. I was physically in good shape, but walking up hills or stairs still felt harder than they should have because of my lungs. That pregnancy was really difficult. I was exhausted all the time and quite thin because I wasn't gaining much weight. And again, I blame my age. In 2020, I had my explant surgery, thank goodness. And even after that, I still had the chronic lung issue. And I didn't have the tools or the understanding to make sense of the symptoms that I was dealing with. It wasn't until 2024 when I became a body CEO mentor and understood the 3 patterns that we can shift into when we are imbalanced. And finally, everything made sense. The lung condition, the wanting to pass out with fainting, the heat waves, the breathlessness, the exhaustion that didn't match my physical fitness, and the lack of nutrient absorption. And all of it made sense through a pattern lens, not an age lens. And this is why I teach what I teach. You can be doing everything right, but if your body is operating from a different internal or external state than the one you're comparing it to, it's never going to respond the same way. And unless you know how to identify that shift, you will blame the wrong thing every single time. So you want to look at the symptom as the last thing to show up, not the first thing to solve. It's the signal that tells you which pattern your body has been operating in. And patterns form when food, routine, and lifestyle stop supporting your unique body type over time. This isn't how women are taught to read their own body, and those symptoms always point in a direction of being either dry and depleted, hot and inflamed, or heavy and stuck patterns. And if you focus only on the symptom, you miss what it's actually showing you. The more accurate question or thought would be, well, which of these patterns matches what my body is showing me right now? And when you see your symptoms this way, the picture becomes clear instead of confusing. You stop targeting the symptom and start paying attention to the state that your body has been operating in. Symptoms don't show up at the start of a problem. They show up towards the end of it, and your body will work with whatever you're doing for a long time. The food you've been eating, how much sleep you've been getting, how your days have been structured, and how much demand has been put upon you, and how often maybe you're waking up during the night or starting the day already tired. All of it ties together. It doesn't react instantly. It adapts first and symptoms appear later. And this is where things often go sideways. You see the symptom and assume the problem started that same week. Well, it didn't. It actually started months, sometimes even years before you've noticed that anything was off. So you try to fix the symptom, whether it's reflux, constipation, bloating, heat, sluggishness, like there's a million things that you could think of, but nothing changes because the symptom isn't the part that shifted first. It's just the part you can see. That's how you end up adjusting the wrong thing. The symptom was the final signal, not the starting point. And if nothing changes there, the body doesn't reset, it will actually settle into that state, which can lead to chronic conditions and disease. So what do I mean by this? Well, you might change what you eat after your digestion slows down, but your digestion doesn't respond because food wasn't the actual issue to causing maybe that constipation. You change your routine when your energy isn't the same, earlier mornings, stricter schedules, expecting that to fix it, and it doesn't. And you might add supplements when symptoms show up. One supplement becomes two becomes several, and meanwhile, you're getting up earlier, going to bed later, carrying more responsibility, and stopping your day already tired. So on the surface, it looks like you're making reasonable changes, which makes us feel better, but your body doesn't respond the way it used to, even though you're doing more to fix it. So again, you keep adjusting, waiting for something to work, and when it doesn't, you start to assume that your body is the issue, or maybe it's just age. And this is exactly why I love working with patterns. Patterns show you how your body is operating and which kind of imbalance your symptoms are pointing to. And when you learn to see your body this way, you start recognizing those signals yourself instead of guessing and relying on someone else. Now, when you start recognizing patterns, things become way more clear, not because everything resets, but because you finally understand what your body is responding to. And that changes how you read your symptoms. A day where you wake up tired after a full night's sleep isn't just age. An afternoon where your stomach feels tighter in your waistband, that belt gets really tight, isn't just hormones. And maybe a morning where your mind feels slower than usual isn't a lack of discipline. These little moments are not random. They're information talking to you. And once you see your body that way, you're not reaching for fixes that you never needed. You're not trying to get back to an old version of yourself. Everyone says, I just want to feel like my old self again. You're actually reading the version you're in right now. And that's where decisions stop feeling uncertain because you stop outsourcing explanations, you stop assuming your body is unpredictable, and you stop treating every new symptom like a separate issue because now the way your body behaves actually makes sense. Once you understand the pattern that your body is in, you finally see what your body has been showing you for years, and you can respond to it instead of reacting to it. You'll never unsee it again. And that's the difference. Finally having the lens that lets your body make sense. And once you have stepped into this leadership role, you're not trying to keep up anymore with your body. You're actually leading it. Becoming the CEO of your body changes the question from, how do I fix this? To what created this? If you want to make decisions the way a body CEO does by seeing what led to your symptoms, the Body CEO method opens in early 2026. You can join the list here to be the first to know at tashamiller.co/newsletter. Head down below the episode to find the link in the show notes as well. Understanding your body isn't complicated when you know what you're looking for. This is what happens when food, routine, and lifestyle stop supporting your unique body type over time. I hope that things are becoming clearer the more and more you hear this. Thank you for listening. Have a wonderful rest of your week. Thank you for spending time with me today. If you enjoyed this episode, tap follow and leave a 5-star review down below. I read every single one and it helps more women find this podcast. If you want to keep the conversation going, head to tashamiller.co for resources, offers, and all the ways to connect with me.